After years of traveling and lecturing universities all over the world and debating, I've come to the conclusion that most people have not rejected Christianity because they examined the evidence for it, but rather because of their philosophical bias, not their historical investigation. Because they have a bias that everything in history must have a natural explanation, and if it doesn't, then it's to be rejected. They never discovered that through studying history. They thought that up philosophically. For example, Dr. Frank, the German scholar, said, "The representation of a course of history is a priori to be regarded as untrue and unhistorical." Now, is that because he examined the evidence and found it not to be reliable? No, because if supernatural factors interpose in it, everything must be naturalized and likened to the course of natural history. And then Dr. KEENAN, the Dutch scholar, said this, "It is only the assumption of a natural development that takes account of all the phenomena. The familiar intercourse of the divinity with the patriarchs constitutes for me one of the determining considerations against the historical character of the narrative." Now, did he conclude that was not historical because he examined the evidence? No, it was because of his philosophical prejudice that there can be no supernatural. Everything must have a natural explanation. And then Rudolph Bultmann said this, "This closeness means that the continuum of historical happenings cannot be rent by the interference of supernatural transcendent powers, and that therefore there is no miracle in the sense of the word. Such a miracle would be an event whose cause did not lie within history." Do you see that? Does not reject, say, the resurrection of Christ because they examine the evidence and say it is not good, but rather they reject the resurrection of Jesus Christ because of the philosophical bias or prejudice that there is no supernatural, that we live in a closed universe where everything must have a natural explanation. And this is why when you look at the Jefferson Bible from President Jefferson, you know how it ends? It ends this way. "There they laid Jesus and rolled a great stone to the mouth of the sepulchre and departed." And that's where he ends the Bible. Why? Because after that is the supernatural of the resurrection. And he and others would say there can be no supernatural. Everything has to have a natural explanation. Therefore, they rejected all the accounts, no matter what the historical evidence is, because of their philosophical prejudice about truth, and ended the Bible, and they rolled a stone against the tomb.